Hi, I'm Jordan Pavlin. I have the honor of being Maggie Shipstead's editor at Knopf, and I'm so delighted to be here today to talk with her about her astonishing new novel, Great Circle, which all of us at Knopf think is a masterpiece, and we feel it's going to be the must-read book of the year. Hi, Maggie.
Hi, Jordan.
Hi. Okay, so first, can you just tell us a bit about this amazing book?
Yes. Great Circle is the story of Marion Graves, who's a pilot who disappears while trying to fly around the world north-south, so over the North and South Poles in 1950, when such a thing would have been extremely difficult. And it's also the story of a modern day movie star named Hadley Baxter, who is coming out of a major scandal, and kind of in a bid to reclaim her legitimacy, she gets the role of Marion Graves in a biopic. And after that, she gets sucked into this question of what really happened to Marion, what does it mean to ask what really happened to someone, and sort of these more existential questions about the nature of storytelling and representing someone's life. And the book actually starts before Marion's birth in about 1909. So it follows her all the way through World War II, when she flew transporting military planes in the UK. So there's a lot of plot and a lot of different places, and a lot happens.
And it's a total page turner from page one. And one of the things I admire so much about the novel is its vast geographical canvas. I mean, it moves from Montana to the Pacific Northwest to Europe to the Arctic Circle and beyond. And I wonder if I could ask you to talk a little bit about your own travels and how many of your expeditions and adventures were conceived as research for this book.
Sure. Yeah. I think the word for the time when I was writing this book, which was really started in the fall of 2014. And now the relationship between my personal travel and the writing of the book has been really symbiotic. I started writing a bit for travel magazines in sort of mid 2015. And I started pitching places that would help me in the book, places that I wanted to see. So I felt like I could represent Marion's journey more accurately. And so then I got a couple of those assignments and sort of developed a reputation as someone who had background in the polar regions and liked adventure travel. And so then more assignments came. So yeah, I've been to Antarctica twice in this period, and to the Arctic, I think 5 times. I haven't been on the Antarctic ice sheet, which figures into the story, but I have been on the Greenland ice sheet, which is a similar visual in that you're standing in this just perfectly flat disk of uninterrupted white, and it's just white and sky. And it's this sort of scale of it is something I couldn't have imagined until I saw it. And then I spent 2 months in Montana, just kind of living on a mountainside with my dog. I spent some time in Alaska on assignments. So yeah, it all sort of came together and snowballed, and places I happened to visit, like the Cook Islands, sort of found their way into the book in some minor ways. So it was really it made the process of writing the book sort of even more personal than it would have been otherwise.
Mm-hmm. And 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 I think of the book in many ways as a sort of love letter to the natural world, but there's also a fabulous embrace of urban life in cities, Seattle, Los Angeles, London, and of course flight. So I mean it's the scenes where Marion learns to fly and we see her piloting a plane for the first time and then many times are so exquisite and full of wonder. And I would love to know, how much time you spent in small planes.
Not a lot. I think my appreciation for flight also grew a lot during this process, just reading about it and understanding it. My brother's a pilot. He doesn't fly anymore, but he's been in the Air Force for almost 20 years. So he was sort of a helpful source. And then here and there, I just picked up these funny little small plane flights. Like I was actually at an aviation museum in Montana, and these two guys were rolling out this 1927 Travel Air, and they kind of went, tell that lady she can come with us if she wants to go on a flight. So I went on this flight around the Missoula Valley just completely by happenstance in an airplane that I then used as Marion's, first plane that she learned to fly. And I went on a glider flight. I've landed on a bunch of glaciers sort of in sightseeing ways. And I always like the small planes because you can see what the pilot's doing. So you feel more engaged as a passenger. Although I've also, experienced a lot of wonder just looking out the window of commercial jets.
Mm-hmm. Last question. Great Circle has, as you described, these two unforgettable heroines, strong, amazing, iconoclastic women who rebel in many ways against society's expectations of them. I'm wondering if you could just speak a little bit to this theme of autonomy and self-determination and female desire that runs through the novel.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that theme emerged fairly organically just in telling the story of these people. And part of Marion's arc is that she has this really unfettered childhood. She's basically a wild, free-range kid in the teens and the 20s. And part of her struggle is as she becomes an adult, with this burning desire to become a pilot, she starts hitting all these obstacles that she didn't know existed. And so her story became a bit about just the commitment it takes to this dream of hers that allows her to get past the obstacles and make it happen, and how difficult it is and how many sacrifices it involves. And then with Hadley, this modern sort of celebrity figure whose life is, of course, wrapped up in her beauty and her body and all this public scrutiny. Her pressures are really different, but it's also like, what do you do beyond that? Like, how do you live an internal life as well as an external life? And she's sort of struggling to find meaning in a different way than Marion. Marion knows what she wants, Hadley doesn't. And how do you determine what you want? So yeah, I think their unorthodox lives take a lot of work, as is true in life.
Well, their journeys are utterly captivating. And again, I just think this is one of the most astonishing books I've ever read. And I'm so excited to bring it into the world, and so thrilled to see you today.
Thanks, Jordan. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.